Hello, everybody, and welcome to another of our webinars on the Avenue service. Before we start, we would like to make our land acknowledgement. New Language Solutions is based in Ottawa, Ontario. We acknowledge that our head office is on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. Beyond Ottawa, we have staff working in locations across Canada. And New Language Solutions is grateful to have the opportunity to work as a guest in communities and territories across the country. And we honor the stewardship of the many Indigenous peoples who have resided on these lands since time immemorial. Today, please join me in welcoming Justin Hunt, the innovative mind behind Poodle. Justin is a seasoned technologist and educator with a passion for enhancing language learning through technology. His creation, Poodle, is a versatile collection of tools designed to integrate seamlessly with Moodle, offering teachers and students dynamic ways to engage with audio and video content. Justin's work has allowed Avenue users to seamlessly integrate multimedia resources into our lessons, providing us with the tools to create interactive and engaging learning experiences. We are thrilled to have him with us today and have him share his insights and experience. Take it away, Justin.
Thanks very much, John. Thanks for having me on the call today. And I'm going to share my screen so you don't have to look at me the whole time. So just wait while I do that. Okay, I think you can see my my screen. Can you see the Poodle and assignments, quizzes, and forums slides, John?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. All right, yes. So thanks everybody for coming along, and I'm going to talk about Poodle and assignments, quizzes, and forums. As John mentioned earlier, if you have a question, just ask that right away, and I'll try and deal with it immediately, because I think it's best to deal with questions, as you have them. I think that's better for all of us. And I know people have different levels of expertise on Moodle and on Poodle. So if I'm going in the wrong direction, or it's too, there's something you don't understand, or it's too easy, then we can deal with that in real time. I'm calling in from Japan, so it's 6 a.m. in the morning here, which is really actually a nice time to talk. So that's really good. I've been in Japan for nearly 30 years, actually, so longer than I lived in New Zealand, which is where I'm originally from. And Poodle, it's a Moodle certified integration. So Moodle is the platform that Avenue is based on, the Avenue service is based on, and it's quite a large organization, and it's used in thousands and thousands of schools around the world, and we're a certified integration, so that means we work closely with them on projects. Right, let's get into it. So I'll probably be popping from time to time onto the Poodle demo course to show you things, how they're set up on the demo course. And you can go here anytime also. That's at demo.poodle.com. Resets every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can go and create an activity or do an activity, and then the following day it'll be gone. So that's good. And there's a URL to that there. But if you just remember demo.poodle.com, I think you'll be okay. I'll just quickly show that to you here. So here's the demo course here. So you would go in here and start using demo activities here. Come back there later on, but that's the demo site. So today we'll talk quickly about an introduction to Poodle. I've already done that. Then we'll have a little time to talk about the Moodle assignment and how Poodle fits into the Moodle assignment, and quizzes, Poodle on the toolbar, and Poodle widgets. So let's go and talk about assignments. Oh, no way to talk about Poodle Media. So Poodle has two parts. There's Poodle Media and Poodle Languages. This is Poodle Languages here. So today we're going to be talking about plugins for Moodle that are in the Poodle Media package. And that's audio and video recording for the most part. In about 2 weeks' time, we're going to have another webinar with Avenue, and that is talking about two of the plugins in the languages suite, which are word cards and read aloud. But today we're going to be talking about some of the more basic and actually quite flexible activities for audio and video recording. And then in the Poodle Media Suite. There's a lot of different plugins in Moodle, and some of the documentation that you'll see online refers to plugins that you may not have on the Avenue platform. But if there's something that you need on there, you can just contact the Avenue team and they'll tell you, if they're going to install that, or at least tell them that you want that. Okay, so Poodle in the Moodle assignment. So on the Avenue platform, it looks like this. It's a submission type inside the Moodle assignment. So if you go to your Moodle course and you go to add a Moodle assignment or add an activity, you won't see Poodle there. You'll need to actually go inside the assignment to see it. So let's just go straight over and have a look at that now. Here we are on the Avenue platform, and here is a Moodle assignment. But inside the Moodle assignment, we've added an audio recorder, and I'll just go into the settings and show you that. I might be going to easier level for some people, and maybe it's new information for others, but please tell me if there's something that you don't need to see or that you'd like to see more of. So it's a standard Moodle assignment, and we have standard fields at the top here for the description and the name. And then down here we have submission types. And in the submission types area, we've added this feature here, which is the online Poodle. And this is where we can do audio and video recording. If I uncheck that, you'll see that those fields all disappear. So those are all related to the online Poodle activity. And you also have the same feature set over here in the feedback types. So over in feedback, we have feedback Poodle. And again, we can choose some different settings for how to give feedback. So that means that you can ask your students to give an audio submission, and you can give them an feedback as audio, or feedback as video, or feedback as text. So you can choose how to do that. And you don't need to give feedback on Poodle submissions. You can give feedback on regular submissions too. So a lot of schools that use Poodle feedback, they use it for not for language learning even, but just for giving fast feedback to students without having to type all the time. So they can just give a audio feedback on somebody's nursing assignment, for example. So the different submission types that we have in the assignment submission are audio, video, whiteboard, and snapshot. And although snapshot is there, I don't think you should use it. It was something that was made a long time ago, and I think it still works, but it's not really very useful. It just takes a snapshot from the webcam, and that goes up as a submission type. It might be good if it was detailed enough to, maybe take a snapshot of a student's, handwritten assignment or something like that, but it isn't really very useful for that. So I think it's best just to focus on audio, video, and whiteboard. We'll have a look at those today. So let's go and have a look at an audio assignment. So this is an assignment that I would have given my students when I was teaching here in Japan, where I was teaching in a high school when I started to make Poodle. And I would give them a video, which I think is a good way of using the assignment. I would give them a short video to watch, and then I'd ask them to tell the story in their own words. So here we've got a YouTube video, and it's just it's a TV commercial. It goes like this. And I find TV commercials are quite good resources because, like as in this example here, there's actually no spoken language. It's just something they can see. So any students from any location can see the video, understand the story, and then can do the activity without any assumptions about what they can and can't understand in terms of their language ability. So I'd say please retell that story in your own words. And then down here, there's no add submission button. Do you know why there's no add submission button? Here's my question. Does anybody know why there's no add submission button here? Why I can only view the submissions, but I can't add them? Yes,
because it's
that's
in
right.
the teacher view.
That's right, yeah. So the teachers can't actually add submissions in Moodle. So you need to, if you're testing things, you need to switch your role to student. And then you can go in as a student and do the activity. So let's do that. So the audio recorder takes a few seconds to load up, perhaps a little bit longer for me because I'm all the way over in Japan. And then we get the audio recording. So hi, that was a good video. It was about a man who was running and he came across a monster. We give them these three steps here, the record, playback, and then upload, because it encourages students to go through the three steps, confirm that they're actually recorded, because sometimes they're not for some reason, or their audio volume is very low, or perhaps they want to redo it after they hear themselves, and then they upload the recording. The upload step, of course, is very important, because without the upload step, we don't get the audio submission. But having them go 1, 2, 3 means that they don't just click on the Save Changes button without uploading, which is a problem that can happen. And I'll show you another way of dealing with that a little bit later in the call. Okay, and then the recording is submitted and it's available here for the student. I'll return to my normal role. So I've just done the demo actually. So what I thought we might do now is go and create an assignment from scratch, and we'll set it up as a online Poodle. So we'll use video recording, and we'll set the feedback type to video, and then we'll submit an assignment and we'll give feedback to the submission, and we'll see how that process goes. Before I do that, and I should have asked it earlier, how many of you are actually using audio recording or video recording submissions in your classes now? Could you type in the chat there if you're actually using audio and video recording submissions in your classes? Okay, so Mary's using it. Okay, that's good. Michelle, yes. Okay. Okay, that's good. So definitely some of you are using it. That's nice. Shirley has beginners. Okay. Just video and just audio. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So, all right, well, I'm going to go through and show you how to create an assignment. Oops. Yeah. And it looks like many of you are actually already creating them. So that's good. And maybe I shouldn't spend too long on this because you may already be pros, but I think it's useful to go through and just see how I would do it. And we can discuss some of the settings as we go. So as I mentioned here, if you look through the list here, you won't see a Poodle recording, audio recording, video recording assignment. You need to actually go to the assignment. In the normal fields, so let's call this. That always happens. Tongue twister. And we're going to get them to say this tongue. It's not really a tongue twister. It's just to type it in. Okay. And okay, there was leave the standard settings. Okay. We have multiple submission types that you can enable at the same time. So you can actually have 3 different submission areas inside your assignment going at the same time, which is just confusing. And most of the time that's not what you want. So we just remove the ones that we don't want to use, which is file upload and online text, and just leave Poodle there. And here we choose video recorder because it's a video recording submission. And we can set the time limit here. So let's set a time limit of 30 seconds, for example. It's not, of course, necessary to set a time limit, but it can give the students, a bit of pressure. And here we have this feature here, which is safe save. And safe save is a way of getting around the issue where sometimes students will upload, or no, they will forget to upload their assignment and move on to the next page without and subsequently lose their work. So I'm going to enable that, and let's see how that works. Show the current submission. Yes. We can choose to hide that if we want to, but if we leave it as show, when the student goes back to edit their submission, they can see the previous recording that they made. Okay, and we can add a whiteboard as a recording type if we want to. We'll look at that later, but here it's possible to set a background image on that whiteboard so that the student can draw over the background image. Okay. And we'll enable feedback via Poodle, and we'll set that also to be video. Okay, so the submission and the feedback settings are separate, but they're in the same activity. Okay, let's have a look at that. And we'll switch our role to student so we can actually test out the activity. And we had our submission. It takes a short time for the video to be recorded to load. There it is there, and you can see my real background. Okay, so and this is the tongue twister that we're supposed to say. So let's try that. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. So Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Test it worked okay.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
And now you'll see at this point, I can't actually move to the next page. Can you see that? And that's disabled. And the reason is the safe save feature that we enabled before. So this prevents students leaving the page and moving on to the next step in the quiz, if it's a quiz, or submitting the assignment without completing the upload step. So one of the issues we've had in the past was students losing their work because of this, because they left without uploading. So after we've uploaded, the Save Changes button is enabled, and then we can move on to the next page. So generally speaking, it's a good idea to use Safe Save. There are some things to consider there, and we'll talk about those when we do the quiz. Okay, so that's been submitted. And if you're using Poodle already, you'll be familiar with this screen here. This is a placeholder that we have while we're waiting for the video to be converted into MP4 and then made available. So that should be available within a minute or two for us to actually have a look at our own submission. And there it is here. So that has gone through okay. Because we're a teacher, we can't see the feedback area. So I'm just going to, because we're a student, we can't see the feedback area. I'm just going to return to my normal role and view all submissions. Okay, and there's our assignment submission here. I go to grade my submission. And there's a submission that the student has made. I give the grade that I want to give, so 34 out of 100. And here I can add video feedback because we set the feedback type to be video in the Poodle feedback settings. It's probably a good idea to enable different feedback options so that it's not just video. In some cases, you might want to give text, but you might not want to give video to all user submissions. So you can do that from the settings like this. In that case, we enable comments and enable Poodle at the same time. And then when we go to grade the user's submission, we've got a comments area for text comments, and then a video area for giving the video feedback. Okay. And I'll stop talking, I'll stop going through the assignment there. And if you have any questions about the assignment, please ask them now. Are we all okay with that?
I was just wondering if you could go over the whiteboard feature, or were you planning on doing that a little bit later, or?
Yes, I will, we can do it, let's do it now. So what I'll do is I'll create a new activity and we'll add it in there. So we'll have a whiteboard assignment. No, the whiteboard feature actually was not working, I think. And I in preparation for this webinar, I had a look and I could see what the issue was. So we spent a little bit of time getting that working. I think you may not have been able to use it up until now, but it's quite a good feature. So hopefully you can use it from now. So let's just say draw picture. Okay. And here we have the recorder type, and we choose whiteboard. And when we choose whiteboard, the whiteboard background area is enabled here. So you can add a background image that the students will draw over, and we'll see that a little bit later in the call. But it could just be a standard background, which is just pretty, or it could be something like a map, or it could be a diagram that they have to annotate. So it's quite useful. It's often used when not so much in language teaching, but for chemical equations and math equations. So the students just write on the whiteboard. So it's quite flexible, but in the basic usage, just like this, let's go and have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so we set that as a small whiteboard, just 320 by 320. It's not actually very responsive. It's fixed, but it looks like this, and we can just draw a little picture here of. Let's make it a girl picture. Oh, I said I was going to draw a cat. There you go. So I can erase that. I can draw a picture of a cat. It actually saves as we go. So you'll notice sometimes that affects like what I'm doing with the mouse, but it saves as we go so that when the student has actually finished their picture, they just press save changes and it's already been saved. So we get around that issue of students forgetting to upload because the upload is automatic. This is a good way to draw a cat from the front view. You just go like that, and then put a tail here like that. Yeah, and that's how you draw a cat. There are also, you can change the size of your drawing pen, and you can change the color. There isn't a text tool on this particular whiteboard. What does this one do? I'm not sure what that one does. We also have an eraser here like that. And we have back and forth, so we can actually step back through the various things we've done and remove them as we go like that. Okay, and there's our cat. Now, one of the nice things that we can do actually is we can go into edit submission, I think. Should still be working. And it should have saved our drawing progress as we go so that I can actually continue to, I can't. Okay. Oh, that's a shame. I was going to say we can continue to step back over previous, for example, we could go back 3 steps and then continue from where we were at that point, but that does not seem to be working here. So it's just as it is. Okay, so yeah, I hope that's a feature that you can use. Certainly good with the young learners because you can, it's fun to draw pictures, but also you can do things like give them an audio instructions that they have to listen to and then follow the audio instructions to draw the picture. So
it can be used for preposition of place. One person can say where is what and they have to draw.
yes, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So we'd often have like a box in the middle of the screen, then say draw a ball on the left of the box, you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's the assignment. And if we go and look at the quiz, so the quiz and the assignment, you know, they're different activities, but in terms of Poodle, they're very similar. You've got an audio recorder, you've got a video recorder, you've got a whiteboard. So the actual tools themselves are the same, they're just in a different location. So that actually, what we've already seen there with the audio recording, the video recording, and the whiteboard, that's the same thing really, but in the quiz. But let's go and have a look at it because it's useful. So here's the again the quiz. Actually, they're not submission types, they're response types. So the response format is audio, video, and whiteboard. There's no snapshot because it's hard to conceive of how you use a snapshot in a quiz. So we've just removed that. It's audio, video, and whiteboard. And we're going to have a look at a quiz here. So I made an attempt a few moments ago, but I'm going to make a new attempt. And I'll just go through the 3 steps and then we'll have a look in more detail at how we did those things. So record some audio, that's the instructions that we've given our student, which is pretty general, but hi, this is some audio and it's good audio. And you can see that Safe Save has been enabled on this quiz also because we cannot move to the next page in the quiz while we have recorded something and then not uploaded it yet. So this might cause students some confusion because they see the big blue button and they want to click the big blue button. I'm going to go to the next page, but it hasn't been uploaded yet, and that's why they can't move. They have to upload it, then they can go to the next page. And then here we have a video recording question. One of the things with video recording is not everybody wants to see their face, or they want to share their face. And so it's quite, certainly in the early days, and depending on your users, it's nice to use a video recording with, you know, just objects and things. You don't necessarily need the student to be on camera. So I would ask my students to introduce something, and they would take, you know, something from their desk, maybe like a stapler or something like this Poodle pen case, and explain that, would introduce that to the camera. But otherwise, it's pretty much as you would expect, just a video recorder with the same 3 steps. And you can see in this case, we haven't enabled Safe Save, so that button was actually enabled the entire time. And here we have the whiteboard. And this is actually what I explained earlier, where we've given them an audio set of instructions or directions, and they have to follow those directions to complete the activity, which is to draw on this map. So let's listen to those instructions.
Start at the cafe.
Cafe.
Walk along 3rd Avenue.
3rd Avenue.
Turn right at the coffee shop.
Turn right at the coffee shop.
Then turn right again at the flower shop.
Flower shop.
You'll see your destination beside the police station.
Okay, so I'll play it again and I'll actually draw it. So start at the cafe.
Start at the cafe. Walk along 3rd Avenue.
Along 3rd Avenue.
Turn right at the coffee shop.
Turn right at the coffee shop.
Then turn right again at the flower shop.
Turn right at the flower shop.
You'll see your destination beside the police station.
You'll see your destination beside the police station. There you go. So that would be the correct response from the student, and finish the attempt.
This is a whiteboard?
This is the whiteboard again. Yeah.
Oh, and they can use the whiteboard.
Yes.
Draw on it after we have submitted. Like, how do we do it? How do we upload the map so they can draw on it?
Map.
Okay.
How do you get the
Yeah.
map?
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's have a look at that. So submit all and finish.
Would like to know the settings.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Okay, so there's our audio submission, good, and our video submission that's come through as you would expect. And here is the student's drawing on the map. Okay, how do we do that? Great, so let's go and have a look at that. So perhaps the best way of showing how we do that is going to be to create a new question and add it to the quiz. And I may not be able to do that until I've removed the attempt. Moodle will prevent you from changing or adding questions to a quiz that already has attempts. So I'm just going to remove that attempt that we have. Share report. Delete selected attempt. Edit quiz. Okay, so we're going to add a Poodle recording question. So let's go that here, a new question. Poodle recording. See, it's actually pulled up something from a draft. It's unusual, isn't it? Okay. So I gave them audio instructions before, and let's actually go through that process as well. So here are some audio instructions. I just use the toolbar here, which I'm going to talk about shortly, but I just use the toolbar here to add the audio file, audio recording. Please draw a picture on top of the map. Because those are our audio instructions. That will look like an audio player when it's displayed on the screen. But what you really want to see here is this whiteboard thing here. So go down to the response format and we choose whiteboard. Okay, and when we do that, you can see a couple of things happen. This time limit is disabled because there's no time limit for a whiteboard recording. And this is enabled so we can add a background picture and we can set the whiteboard size. So let's set the whiteboard size to 500 by 500. I'm sorry, it's not very responsive, so a little bit smaller is better for users who might be on a phone. And here we have the background picture. So you're probably familiar with adding pictures to a Moodle activity, and it's just the same. You can click on the add icon here, and from the repository system, you can choose a file from your disk, or I find that quite clunky, and it's probably just as easier to go to your, not sure if you can see this, to go to your Explorer on your PC and drag an image in. So here's my town map here. I'm not sure can you see that? I drag that over the area here, put that in here. There's my town map there. And that's it. If I save changes now, there's our whiteboard question. If I just preview that. We've got the audio instructions that we gave the student and the whiteboard with the audio, with the video, with the background image loaded up. So I can actually draw over here because it's just, in this case, we've only got some part of the whiteboard has been, has a background image on it. But yeah, this is, as we saw
Can I just
before.
ask a question? I'm
Yes.
just wondering, did you have to go over how to use the toolbar? Like, was that self-evident for the students? Like how to use the pen and the drawing features?
It's self-evident, really. Yeah, yeah. I think, I mean, you all know your own students, but in my experience, like some of these things, it's better for them to figure out how to use it by just playing around with it, because it's, in this case, it's really quite simple. There's a, there's a color swatch here. There's a pen size here, an eraser here, a back and forth button. So I would, in my classes, I would probably give them a pretty basic kind of assignment where they had to use the tool, but maybe draw like, a picture of their family or draw a picture of their house or something. And they would just, because students have used similar tools before, they would, start drawing and playing with the toolbar and figuring out how to use it. and that would be enough. I suppose you could make a video explaining the different features. I've found in my own classes it was easier, or pretty better, just to have the students figure it out themselves. Yeah. What do you think?
I find that what I find self-evident, often the students don't, and so they may get frustrated. I guess I wouldn't use it for an assessment. I would use it maybe just for an activity, so that,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it wouldn't take long to make a short video explaining, what each of the items on the toolbar does for those students, or if you have a class who that would be, the best way of getting the information across. So yeah, I guess it's a possibility. I think it's we come from a different context, and in the Japanese context, students want to know every little thing before they actually get started on the activity. All these little points of indecision kind of cause paralysis in the Japanese students, and I found that the best way of getting around that was just to put them in at the deep end. Otherwise they would expect not just a little introduction, they'd expect every single button to be explained, and you'd lose half the students. So yeah.
Thanks for answering.
Okay.
We can also do a practice test, and once they are ready, then the real test.
Right. Yeah. So the whiteboard is available in the assignment and in the quiz question. So yeah, you might give assignments earlier in the course, so they get a chance to use the tool and become familiar with it, and if you actually have it in an assessment, it's after they've learned how to use the tool. Yeah. Okay, so on audio and video recording, so a good thing to do is to put each question on a new page, in particular with audio and video recording, because they can lose their place. They look very similar, especially the video recorder. It's quite large. And also the safe save feature, there's only one next page button on a quiz. So I'm going to go back to my quiz here. And I'll put this audio and this video here onto the same page. That. We'll go back and try this quiz again. And I think and also I'm just going to change yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to go to the quiz. Review the quiz. Okay, so we've got now the audio and the video recorder on the same screen. And if I record audio here, blah, 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 blah. Oh. Is safe not enabled here?
Here, blah, blah.
Okay, if safe save is enabled on the screen, then this audio recorder here will disable the button here, but subsequent questions will also be disabled. They can't move to the next screen until this one has been uploaded, and that can be quite confusing because it's not clear why this button has been disabled. I was expecting the safe save to be. Oh, that's interesting. 7 there. Anyway, yeah, but so basically just try to put each audio and video recording question on a new page. I think it'll be easier for the students to understand and more reliable. Use the safe save feature because it'll prevent students losing their recording. Be careful with time limits because we have a lot of schools that use Poodle audio and video recording in kind of tests and assessments, and students might record a video, let's say a 3-minute video, right up until the last 3 or 4 seconds of the quiz, but there's some time required to upload a video recording, in particular video recordings. It might be 30 seconds, it might be 10 seconds, but if the quiz submits automatically and the recording has not been uploaded yet, they can lose the video recording or the audio recording that they made. So with time limits, I think it's okay to put a time limit onto the quiz, of course, but perhaps put the audio and the video recording questions earlier in the quiz so that they're not the last one on the page, because then students might leave that to the very end and then lose their recording halfway through. And on that note, long recordings are quite risky because it's all or nothing. If the recording fails for some reason, it doesn't get uploaded, or the quiz time limit hits, then they'll lose everything. And if it were an essay question, they'll just lose the part that they hadn't finished yet. But with the video recording, they might have recorded 5 minutes and they'll lose all 5 minutes. So keep the recordings short if you can, and that will minimize the risk that they're going to lose, their work. Okay, Michelle said that's exactly what happened to me last week. Yeah, so it's a real situation, and we've got other plugins that have been developed for Poodle. They're called Cloud Poodle. They look and work well. They look very similar to what we've just seen in the assignment and the quiz, but they're really designed differently. So the chance of losing recordings or things going wrong has been minimized. So that's something to look forward to. But yeah, if you follow these features, these recording tips that I've mentioned here, each question on a new page, use the safe save feature, be careful of the time limits, and keep the recording short, then you'll minimize the chance of students losing their data. Okay. Now, we did actually create a quiz question a few moments ago, and we're getting a bit low on time, so let's just keep on moving. So using Poodle for Atto on the toolbar, right? So there's a recording audio, recording video, recording the screen, and inserting widgets into the HTML area. I'll spend more time on widgets than I will on these other three because I think we're kind of familiar with these, but I will quickly show you those. So let's go over to our course here. Excuse me. I like to test the toolbar and the widgets, which we'll see shortly, using forums, because I can quickly create items without having to mess up my course page. Let's call this and here we have the Poodle icons here. So we've got an audio recorder, a video recorder. Oh, here we have a whiteboard actually, a whiteboard and a snapshot and widgets. So no screen recording on this one. Okay, that's fine. So that's different to what I mentioned here. So sorry about that. This is actually not how things are set up on the Avenue site. So you've got the audio, the recorder, video recorder, whiteboard, snapshot, and widgets. So audio recorder is much as you would expect. We saw that earlier. The audio recorder just in the pop-up. Hi, 1, 2, 3. And then we've got the video recorder here. Hi, 1, 2, 3. So the same whiteboard tool that we saw in the quiz and the assignment is here also. I'm not sure if it was here before. As I mentioned, we did have some issues with the whiteboard, so I'm not sure if this was working before, but it is now. So that's good. If you select that like that, I think you can change the size over here like that. So you can make that 150. Yeah, so that's how you can edit things a little bit as a author. And a snapshot, if you want to use a snapshot, I think this is a great tool. Perhaps it can be useful. Snapshot. That. Poster forum. So the audio and the video files will be expanded from the links into the audio and video players that we're familiar with. And then we've got our drawing and our snapshot there. So that's great. And what I want to talk about now is widgets. So up until now, I think you haven't had many widgets on the site. I think we want to add some more widgets to your Avenue platform. And so we were just looking at that before the call, and we've added a few, and we're going to add a few more. But the ones that I'm going to talk about today, the 3 widgets, are the multiplayer audio, because I think one of the teachers here wanted to see about that and it wasn't enabled. Youglish search and text to audio. So let's just go straight into that. So let's look at multiplayer audio. So in Poodle, we've got a number of audio players, and we've worked to make those into kind of widgets. So they're a little bit more flexible than they have been in the past, but it uses a slightly different system, which wasn't set up here. But basically, we've got this widgets menu over here, and then we can choose from this dialog here, the widget that we want to insert. And so these are the widgets that we've chosen to look at today: multiplayer audio, text to audio, and Youglish. So let's look at our multiplayer audio. This will limit the number of times that the student can play back the audio. So that's useful in assessments or in simulating assessments, to give students a bit of pressure. They have to listen to it just once or twice, and then they can't listen to it again. So in this case, I'm sorry, it looks a bit wonky, but we've got the number of times they can play the audio back just twice, quiz strict mode, the default volume, and the quiz remember play position. This widget is available in the quiz as well as other places on the site, but in the quiz we implement specific functionality for quizzes, so that if they reload the page, they're not going to reset the player. It's still going to remember how many times they've played the audio and at which point they played the audio up until. So that's why we have these settings here for the quiz. Here we're in a forum, so that's those are not going to apply. Okay, and in between these tags here, we're going to put our audio player. So again, I'll just record a quick audio for this purpose. This is an audio recording. Take a second to load, and then we have our multiplayer. So you see, you've got remaining plays is twice. There's two times we can play back the file. With audio up and down buttons and a play button. We play it. We can't pause it.
This is an audio recording.
It'll go through once. Go through the second time.
This is an audio recording.
And then we're locked out. Okay. Now, in this case, if I refresh the page, that's going to reset. But in the quiz, because of the settings that we applied, it will not reset. So that will still be, they'll still be locked out until you delete their attempt or they create a new attempt in that quiz. And so you would use this for simulating tests in different places. But if you really wanted to lock it down so that they couldn't do it twice, you'd put that in the quiz, and then they couldn't do the they couldn't reset the player.
Can you show the setting again where you restricted it, like that they cannot play it again?
Sure. I might go back and do this into the quiz so we can actually see that how it works in the quiz. So let's give me a second and we'll go to the quiz.
Thank you.
So here's our question here. Toolbar, we've got the widget here for the multiplayer audio. And these are the settings here. So let's just make this once. They can only play it like once. And we set the strict mode to true, which means that in the quiz, it's going to prevent them from resetting it by reloading the page or navigating through the quiz and coming back. The volume. Remember the play position, that will set it so that if it's, let's say it's a 3-minute audio recording, and at 1 minute 30 they leave the page, when they return it'll be back at 1 minute 30. It won't be back at 0 again.
Wow, nice.
And then put our audio recording in. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. Okay. And now let's save those changes and go to the quiz. Continue the, do you want to continue the preview? Sure. Because here's our audio player. We'll play it through to.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey.
Through now when I refresh the page. Okay, I shouldn't be able to play that back. Yeah, I can't play that back. Okay, so we're still at we're at 0, so we can't reset. But if I as a teacher I delete that student's attempt or I create a new attempt, I'll be able to play it again. So
Just
I hope that's
one
a useful.
problem.
Yes.
Some of my student, I caught them recording it so they can play it for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, what can you do? So yeah, I there's okay, we haven't got a solution for that, but that is a problem. In Japan, they take out their phone and they take a photo of the screen and they share it with their friends, and so yeah, how they bring that? How clever, aren't they? Okay, so another widget that we'll talk about here. We haven't got much time, so we'll just quickly get through these last 2 widgets, and if you have any questions, please give them to me. So we have a text to audio. So this is something, it's been around for a long time, but it's basically a text to speech audio player. So we can set a bit of text and it'll be played via text to speech. So let's go female, Australian voice, format text. I can just put in here, I like to go to the beach. I have a lot of friends. Started. Okay, and that'll just turn it into an audio player. And it'll play that text that we entered there and read that aloud for us.
I like to go to the beach. I have a lot of friends. Let's party.
Okay. So I find that quite useful when I'm working with different languages because Poodle works in lots of languages, not just English. So for making resources in Spanish or Japanese or Chinese, and in the near future for auto-creating activities from AI, we can auto-create audio in the same way. And the last widget I'll show you here is something called Uglish. Does anybody know Uglish? Has anybody used Uglish?
No.
Graham has, okay.
No.
Uglish. Okay, so probably the easiest way to demonstrate Uglish is to show it to you. So let's have a look at that here. Uglish is not something we invented, unfortunately. I wish we invented it. It's quite cool. It's a service and Uglish search. So we can set a start term. So basically it's going to give us examples from YouTube of how words are used. So I'm going to put in the word here, perception, just for no good reason, perception. And that'll be the start term on this widget. Okay.
Perceive the passing of the moment. And so this perception, this increased juxtaposition, right? This notion of taking the world of everyday perception and tweak.
So you can basically put, different words. You can put phrases in there, different words, and it'll go through YouTube and find that phrase or word, and the students can see an example of that.
Tempo matters is because obviously when you get to different words, you want to have some kind of spacing.
Okay. So that's Uglish. Okay, Mary has to leave. Thanks for coming, Mary. But yeah, let's see you again next month, and send me questions if you have something that you want to know how to do.
Thanks, Justin.
And the last thing I'll show you, which is the English word, which
That
might
was
actually be more.
awesome.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I was just saying goodbye to Mary because Mary is leaving. But I'm going to show you one more thing and then we'll finish up. But this is English word.
Perceive the passing of the moment. And so this perception, this increased juxtaposition of day and night forces us to be more present.
Stop that. So with English word, we can specify a particular
Perceive
word. A particular word that will be, oh, is it working? Yeah, we can set a specific,
remarkable public housing also.
A particular word that will be used, so the student doesn't have to search for a word. It's preloaded, and it will give them different examples. After 3 plays, it will move on to the next example of the same word. So.
Developed an island of parks, and if you go there, you'll see how much.
Okay, I'll stop there, and I'll stop sharing there too. So. Okay, and so that's all we have time for today. Thanks very much for coming along and listening. And I we haven't got much time for questions now, but if you do have questions, you can get those to me at this email address. It's not on the screen anymore, but here it is. This email address here, justin@poodle.com, or you can ask the people at Avenue who can help you also.
Thank you very much, Justin. Do you have any last words?
Oh, thanks everybody for using Poodle and doing the great work that you're doing with Avenue. So I'm very happy that Poodle is being used, in such a great, mission. So I'm very, very happy to work with you guys. So keep the conversation coming, and yeah.
Thank you, Justin, and everybody. Thank you very much for taking your time off. And if you meet up with some colleagues, let them know that this session will be archived and available in 2 days on the Avenue YouTube webinar site. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. And Justin, have a good breakfast.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.